guys, it is Thursday, May 27th, so we're coming up here on Memorial Day weekend. Last week was really busy. We were getting stuff ready for Clayton's first birthday party, and that went really well. I got him with me. We're heading over to Mom and Dad's. We're gonna take a look at the orchard. Dad is thinning the peaches, so we're gonna get into what thinning is, what that all entails, why it's important to do it, and we'll take a look at the orchard, and we'll also check in on some of the other plants that we got in.
What we're doing today is thinning peaches. Around here, these were full of blooms. So what we want to do is thin them about every 8 to 10 inches. This way we get bigger peaches and it don't weigh the limbs down as bad. Let this many peaches grow on this tree, it'll start breaking the limbs down. So you got to thin them. This is, right now we're going to experience a June drop here, and that's when the tree thins them itself a little bit, but we got to give it a little bit of help because it won't knock as many off as we need to come off. Want to leave on there what the limb can handle.
Are the peaches the only thing that you have to thin? Do you have to thin any of the other orchard fruit trees?
We'll thin the apples. A lot of big orchards chemically thin them. We don't do that. We thin them by hand because we've got so many varieties planted close together. It's hard to chemically thin ours. So we do it by hand.
When you first started thinning them, like the first couple years, did you not thin them enough because you didn't want to throw all those peaches on the ground, or?
You never thin them enough. Yeah, we didn't know quite what we were doing, but we learned over the years how to get them a little bigger. And
so this directly kind of goes to how big the peach is going to be?
Yeah, it's going to allow the peaches to get bigger.
Do you thin any of the different varieties differently, or do you do them all about the same, the 8 to 10 inches?
Pretty much thin them all about the same. And now and then we'll come back in and we'll prune a couple branches off if we think we got too many on there.
About how long do you think it takes you to finish thinning one of these mature trees?
Oh, I don't know. It takes about an hour to thin a tree. I'm old. I'm not as fast as I used to be. And peaches grow as cell division. They start off as a single cell and then they start dividing. And a lot of that size comes in from sunlight. You got to have a lot of sunny days really in the beginning to get them going. If you notice on this tree, these peaches on this side, if you notice, it's kind of dark because those trees there I gotta come in and cut some of them limbs out. We're not getting quite the sun on this side of the tree. We'll walk around to the other side in a minute and see the difference in the peach size. Gotta have sunlight. Want a lot of it, especially early on. Here the other year we had a season where we didn't have a lot of sun in the spring, and the peaches didn't quite get the size we wanted them to. The early peaches, the later ones were fine, but the early ones didn't quite get to where we wanted them to. Coming to this side of the tree where the sun hits it quite a bit different in size here. See the difference in size?
Yeah.
A lot more sun, a lot more cell vision going on here.
Are you worried about the cicadas at all with the fruit trees? I saw where they like lay their eggs in the tree bark.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that a whole lot.
Have you seen many cicadas out here?
I have not seen or heard any over here this year. I've heard them other places I've went, but none on the farm yet.
I read somewhere where since they burrow themselves in the ground, a lot of places where the ground gets like tilled up and worked up and things like that, sometimes there aren't as many there because of that. Do you think that makes a difference here and around here with all the farms that are around here?
Might.
I mean, there's still plenty of trees.
It might. I don't know.
I haven't seen one even where we are, but we don't have many trees around close to the house, but you can definitely hear them.
If you listen here, you don't even hear them.
Yeah, I don't hear them here. We're about 45 minutes southeast of Mom and Dad's, and you can hear them. They're pretty loud throughout the woods, but I have not seen one. I think Steve's seen them, but I don't go out in the woods like he does. What variety is this peach tree?
This here, I believe, this tree here, I'd have to look in my book. I got them all plotted out, but this here, I believe, is an early Loring.
Okay. It's good to see that they made it through that late cold snap that we had.
Oh yeah, we were in good shape.
I think you said it was windy enough to where the cold didn't set into them too bad.
Well, they were already hitting bloom shuck when that cold spell came, so we was in good shape. We was in good shape. We just got done spraying the trunks on these this past weekend.
What were you spraying the trunks for?
For peach borer.
Okay.
Got to take care of that trunk.
And that's why you pick up the limbs after you prune too. You said to keep any kind of
keep any disease away.
Yeah. Are the apricots still looking good?
Yep, they look real good.
We'll take a look at those before we leave the orchard. pluot trees really big.
These little peaches here, most likely during the drop, during June drop, they'll fall off. But anyway,
So if you were to not thin the peaches at all, they'd drop some on its own, but then would you just have like really small
yes.
peaches that you wouldn't even want to eat?
Well, you could eat them. They're just going to be really small. We like to see them get big.
I've heard some of our
Plus
customers before say that they have a couple peach trees and they don't get any size to them. It's because they don't thin or prune.
Right.
Just because they don't know that they need to. There's a lot more that goes into the fruit and the fruit trees than anybody realizes. I've learned more this year just filming you do a lot of this stuff that I didn't realize was so much.
Right.
Because you've basically been the only one that's really dealt with the orchard.
I like orchard work. Now, thinning ain't my favorite. I hate thinning. Because you just feel like you're throwing money on the ground. But
Mm-hmm.
as you can tell on the ground here, how many peaches we're throwing. You can look over there where we thinned that row already. There's a lot of peaches on the ground. Now we're going to go up in the top of the tree and catch the tops. I might take that tall limb out there.
Which limb?
That tall one there. Tree. A little more.
Plus you wouldn't have been able to reach those to thin them anyway, I don't think. They're just pretty high up. Do you figure if they're so high up that you can't reach them with the ladder, you don't really need them?
Right. Well, you don't want them that high up anyway. Blocks too much sun on the others.
Alright, so there's the apricots. When are these usually ready to be picked?
From July.
So they're looking pretty good.
Have to thin them a little bit.
Dad'll thin these a little bit, but looks like we'll have some apricots this year, which is great because the last couple years it's been kind of spotty or we haven't had them at all. So real happy to see that. Alright, so now Dad's gonna hook up the planter to the New Holland Workmaster 75 and we're gonna plant some cantaloupes. 686 is hooked up to the black plastic mulch layer right now because we are gonna have to lay some more plastic for like the second plantings of stuff. We were just talking, he said it's nice to be able to have two different tractors hooked up to two different things. He doesn't have to unhook the other one first. But he's about to get the New Holland out of the shop. Are you driving over there? Alright, so Dad's bringing it around so he can fill it up with water and get the plants on the trays.
They're starting to come into, they got blossoms coming on them. We got to cultivate in between there and hill them. Put a little bit of spray, kill the weeds in between, and we'll hill them up. But they're looking good, as good a crop as we've had in years.
All right, you can go over here. And this is the double row of peppers we planted, I guess, so 2 weeks ago or last week? 2 weeks ago?
Longer than that, 3 or 4 weeks ago.
And then we have the squash and zucchini over here. We can go head over to the tomatoes.
We've got green beans coming up.
Green beans. We can head over between the tomatoes and watermelons.
This is our tomatoes. We just got stakes and strings in them. See that string going down there? That's the first string. We'll put about 4 or 5 strings as they grow, holding them up, and it'll look like a hedge going down through there. And the stakes will hold them up, and the strings will hold them up, make it easier picking, keep them off the ground. We lose a lot less tomatoes that way, and it really helps the airflow go through them to keep them free of disease and stuff. Really good way of doing it. It takes a lot of time and effort, but it doesn't. You get a much nicer product when you're done.
Watermelons are looking good.
Watermelons are over here. They're starting to grow, starting to shoot out. A couple weeks they'll be covering everything.
This is some more peppers that we had extra.
No, this is cantaloupes.
Right here?
Cantaloupes, yep. These are cantaloupes right in here.
Why are they double planted?
We just tried something with
Just
a
to see what it
variety and
does?
see what they do. Always helps to try some different things. We got to get the stakes on the other 2 rows of tomatoes, and then we got about 300 more red tomatoes to plant.
300
Get
more?
them in. Yeah, about 300 more late ones. It's a late season, or late tomatoes.
This is the other double row of peppers that we had planted the other week. It goes nice and fast when you do the double row with the peppers. It works out real nice. This is where we just planted cantaloupes.
First cantaloupes are starting to sprawl out, getting some growth on them.
And that second planting we just did is across the way there. See, we still have to lay plastic over there.
We're gonna lay plastic over there for the second tomatoes, and we're gonna
then
lay
right
plastic
here.
up here, yep.
And are these for tomatoes too, or
So we're
more?
gonna put the second tomatoes over here in that
In
work
that
ground,
field.
and then this is gonna be where the third plant and the cantaloupes go.
Okay, and it'll be 2 rows or 3?
Two rows of cantaloupes, 2 more rows of cantaloupes in here, and then that there's the third, another row for the third one.
And you said you just planted some raspberries?
Yep, we'll show you
New
that in a minute.
raspberries.
We'll drive down past the Lima Beans right now. these are the Lima Beans. Got 3 rows of Lima Beans, come up real good there. They're bush limas. And then this here's 2 rows of black raspberries here. We won't get anything off of them this year, but next year they'll produce a real nice crop of raspberries.
The other ones that we have, they're just really old.
They're over 20 years old.
Yeah.
And putting a new patch of raspberries in. Eventually I'm going to have this whole corner piece here. It's going to be all raspberries.
That'll be good.
We're going to do a little bit each year.
All right, well that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. So we got a little bit of thinning done in the orchard. Dad's been working on that. He and Austin were working that on Tuesday. Austin was here helping with that. And then when Zach got home, we were doing the cantaloupes. So we have everything in right now that needs to be in. We'll lay some more plastic for the rest of the tomatoes, and then for the 3rd planting of cantaloupes here in the next couple weeks. And yeah, shortly here, what is it, May, another month or so, we'll start getting some stuff in, like the squash and cucumbers and like the lettuces. But it's all looking good for right now. The orchard especially, it's nice getting through the cold without losing any of it. So we're going to be looking forward to that this year, just because in years past, whether it be the apricots or the peaches, it just seems like the last couple years it's been something with it having a late frost. So if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, like this video, and thanks guys. Are you reading with Grammy? Can you say hi everyone? Say, I'm about to be a year old.
Won't be long, he'll be riding in a tractor with Pappy, steering.
Yeah.